Okay, there we go. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. Welcome to our culture, our communities, our arts, a virtual program that gives our viewers an opportunity to learn more about the various ethnic art organizations that contribute to the cultural mosaic of New York City. They also participate in our concerts and festivals. These include the New York City Multicultural Festival and the Gathering Concert Series. I am your host, Joyce Adewumi, founder and president of New York African Chorus Ensemble. Malika Harris is the assistant producer. Still celebrating Women's History Month, our guests are phenomenal women who are doing amazing things in the arts. Today we are featuring Cristian, Allexis, and Urbanova in Batala, New York. Cristian, Allexis, and Urbanova is a musical band originally formed in the Dominican Republic in 2011. This band creatively fuses the rhythms of bachata, bolero, son, and pop, so much so that their music is perceived as world Latin folk. To their credit, they have had the great opportunity to share the stage with important exponents of Latin music, such as Jarabe de Palo, Prophetic Culture, Familia Andre, Wasumbra Soban, Victor Manuel, and Chino and Nacho, receiving excellent reviews from the press, famous musicians, and music lovers. The band is directed by Annabelle, Anibal Coronado, and the lead singer is Cristian Allexis. Let's take a look.
Me trae recuerdo la noche, cuántas veces tuvo que alegrar. Bella noche, qué bonita fue esa noche, qué romántica la noche, cuántas veces tuvo que alegrar. Bella noche.
Here tonight is the manager of Cristian, Allexis, and Urbanova, Patricia Villanola. Welcome, sis. Can you unmute? Unmute yourself. Patricia, unmute yourself, please.
There you go.
There you go. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having us.
It's amazing. It's unusual for a woman to manage a band filled with men. You must
Yeah.
be a superwoman.
Oh, just a little. Yeah, yeah. It's
All
tough,
right. Well,
but fun. Thank
all
you.
right. So, yeah. So, we also have in the studios, our fake studio, Batala, New York. Batala, New York is part of a global arts project made up of over 30 bands around the world. The music, instruments, and costumes of Batala originate from Salvador da Bahia in northeast Brazil. In New York, the Batala Band is made up of all women. Their performances are filled with high energy. You will see women playing drums of different sizes, the largest weighing over 25 pounds. All the tones that they play are rhythms heard throughout the African diaspora. and they are concentrated in their music in homage to traditional Afro Brazilian music and spirituality. Today, with the choreography, the music tells stories of unity, power, and joy. Let's take a look. Okay, just a little teaser there. We're giving everybody just a little teaser. During the week, during the month, we were playing the music of these various groups, uh, and now we want to hear from them. So, Patricia, how did you come to manage this band?
Ay, ay, ay. um, I knew that question was coming. Um, so I met the boys. I saw them in a concert, and we went with family members and friends. We went to a show in Washington Heights, and we were all ecstatic to see to enjoy the music. The music was beautiful. Christian happens to write his own songs. Anibal, who is the musical director, does all the musical arrangements. So we were like, oh my God, these guys are so good. And the songs talk about, what every person feels, love, or you're in love with someone but the other person doesn't know, or it talks about people living in different countries and not being able to be together. And it also they also sing about good energy and cheering and just happy things. So yeah, that's how we met. This was 2 years ago. And then little by little, they came to New York, and they didn't know how to take a train. They didn't know how to, they had meetings and they needed help with translation. So little by little, I kind of like started helping them, and then I ended up. So they started introducing me as their manager, and I was like, me? Oh no, no, no! Wait a minute, wait! You're going too fast. But then everyone everywhere we went, everyone started looking at me like I was the boss. So yeah, that's how. And then I'm 2 years later, I'm here and I'm enjoying it. It's fun. They're very professional, and they've gotten welcomed in New York, and I thank you for having them. I think what three times already in your festivals. Thank you for that opportunity, and yeah, it's been good.
It has been good. We enjoy having them, and we hope to have them many, many, many more
Thank
times.
you. Yes.
COVID is gone, but you do look like the boss, so I'm not surprised. Then yeah, let's have you introduce the ladies of Batala, New York.
Batala. I love that name.
Yes.
Hello.
Hi, welcome, welcome,
Hi,
welcome.
can you hear me?
You are the director, one of the directors of Batala, New York. Yes,
Hi.
Kenya?
Good.
Yes. Please introduce the rest of the members who are
Yes, I'm musical director of Batala, New York. Sure. Here with me is Jen Eakin, who is leader of our Dobra section, which is like the tenors in marching band formation. Terry Seligman, who plays the biggest drum, Surdu. Elka Samuel Smith, who is here. She also plays the tenor drum, the dobra. among others. Ellen Dupuy-Diagnac, I hope I pronounced your name close to correct. Ellen, who plays also the big surdo, among other instruments.
Wow.
We are representing Batala today.
Awesome. Awesome. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's our pleasure to have you here. Now, you ladies are occupying traditionally male roles, I would say. Roles that are traditionally reserved for men, a manager, and also drummers. What difficulties have you faced in your line? So let's start with Patricia.
Difficulties. Well, I can tell you that I've tried to book events for them for the band, and most of the time it's at the bars and at the restaurants, mostly the owners or the promoter who happens to be in charge of the bookings. They're mostly male, so I've knocked on doors, I've asked, and it's a challenge because I find that they don't at first they don't take me too serious because I'm a woman. So and you have to kind of like make it a little, be more insisting, and it's a little tougher. It's a little tougher. um and I've discovered that I've gone, for example, today is Tuesday. I've gone on a Tuesday and asked, oh, this is the calendar, they're gonna be here, and they can say, oh, I for this day I don't, I'm already booked, and then I find out that they weren't, and things like that. But you have to keep trying and move on and go to the next one, and then you prove, hey, we had a nice show at this other place, and so yeah, it has happened.
Yeah, yeah. But you're doing an amazing job, though. You
Thank
are.
you. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We just have to keep pushing, let this man know that we can do this. We can do this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So, Dinya, you ladies are playing drums.
I love that.
What are the challenges? Yes, I love it. You guys are amazing. And I know that there 125th Street is mostly guys who are playing drums. So what challenges have you faced?
Well, people hear us coming from far away. That's our calling card. And, they know what time it is when we show up. I think, traditionally, the roles are that the women dance and the men drum. So often when we're there with our drums, men want to tell us about our drums, show us a few things, but we also show them a few things as well. you know, um, I think now the road is open for women to hit whatever instrument, write whatever song, open whatever path they want for themselves now. And the biggest barrier is it's culture and how we're taught to behave, right? So one of the biggest lessons I had as a woman drummer that I'm still trying to internalize myself is that you can't wait for an invitation. You have to hit that thing now.
Hmm.
You have to hit that drum now and today. You can't wait for an invitation because when the drum calls you, you have to just answer.
Hmm.
Mm, mm. Now, what can we as women help one another? What can we do to help one another when we find ourselves in these male-dominated roles? What can we do to help each other?
I think spread the word, you know, encourage, um, motivate, um, spread the word, on social media, and support, and yeah, support.
I think it's important to normalize what we do, just in
Mm-hmm.
general. For example, I know that you mentioned that this might be a dominated traditionally dominated. But I was born and raised into the performing arts world where everybody danced and everybody drummed. So for me, there was never a separation between the drum and the dance. And the only times I've ever felt any kind of way about an absence of women presence was seeing bands that maybe just didn't have any female presence. I thought that was more abnormal than anything else. So, but I think, half the battle is letting the skills lead the way, and just being comfortable to step into the opportunities, step into the drum circles and just join in. I mean, for us, we have an all woman band. So, there's nothing but encouragement and support, all around and space to explore and to push forward. But I think that you'd find in most spaces that that's the case.
And drumming's not easy. It's not something that a lot of people can just pick up and do. So one of the ways that we can help each other is task analysis. Break it down. Each person on their part, and each woman with their part, stepping up to their role. That's one of the ways that uh, we bring that forward in Batala. Is not only do we break things down into small parts and share all of those roles, but we also share the teaching as well.
Can I ask how many are you in the group?
At this point, there's about 51 that can be called into performances at this point. However, since we are in a pandemic and folks have been scattered here and there,
Mhm.
uh, and in these times, you would probably see a maximum about 20 of us out there in any given performance at this moment.
Okay.
Mm,
Wow.
mm, mm. So, Patricia, where are some of the places that your band have performed? Where are some of the places in New York City?
Okay. Well, besides the wonderful multicultural festival, um, the band has performed in bars in Washington Heights. We've performed at the nice public theater, Joe's Pub. It's downtown by Astor Place. It's a wonderful space. We perform at Drum in the Village. It's like a world music venue. Really, really nice. Very, very nice. And where else? I think that's about it. A couple of local places in the city, like West End Lounge. We did make music New York also in one summer. So yeah, yeah, we've done a little bit of everything, from little places to nice places to, streets and festivals. So yeah.
Yeah, the band is really good, really tight.
Yeah.
And Batala. Oh my God, I remember the first time I heard you guys. Can you tell us some of the places that you have performed in New
Well,
York?
where haven't we performed?
Nice.
We've been around. The band's been around since 2012, and we've played in the streets in every borough. We've played in street festivals in many, many different neighborhoods. We play on the pavement. We play on the stage. We play in the clubs. We play in the schools. We've played places as elite as Carnegie Hall and Saturday Night Live at 30 Rockville Place. And we've played places as intimate as my own house right here and the garden across the street.
Nice, nice.
We've been around.
Nice. So regarding the music, who writes it? Batala, who writes the music that you perform?
Well, a lot of our music is composed by our mestre by the name of Jiba Gonçalves. He's a Baiano, a man from Bahia, who lives half the time in Europe and half the time in Salvador da Bahia, where he was born. He composes, or I would say, composes and arranges a lot of our pieces, which are based on traditional music that's woven throughout. And then we have also some compositions by Mestre Gordo. His nickname is Gordo. His given name is Eden Paolo. And also Mestre Boy Tata, also by the name of Paolo. And Boy Tata is out of Liberdade. Gordon Eden Paolo is out of Piraja. All of these places are in Bahia.
So the music is then scored. Is it scored? Is it scored?
Nope. Our music, when it's scored, uh, it is only for documentation purposes. The way that we perform, it's through exchanging energy in the moment, and it's also through the leadership of the conductor. One of my strongest influences for me personally is Butch Morris from the New Blue Orchestra. He did a lot of work for in um, Afrocentric jazz music to get people to understand the importance of conduction and what it means to like embody the energy of the moment in how you lead the band. That's um that's more our method than following a score. Although, as I mentioned, we have played in some places where we've been required to use click tracks and follow a very detailed script. But no, the music isn't scored.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, Patricia, what are your plans for 2020? No, let me before I even go that before I even go there. How can your fans support you?
By spreading the music, by listening to the music, um, by going to to the shows, pretty much, showing some love.
And where can we find out information about where the band will be performing?
See, yeah, so we have a website, www.urbanovamusic.com. And we're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all of the above as Urbanova at Urbanova Oficial. Um, and right now the boys are in the Dominican Republic, so they have a show in a theater called Chow. They started reopening as in New York, so they have a show, an acoustic show on April 15th. And then they plan to be here in the States at the end of May. So I'm working their calendar now, and yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm starting to look around and see what we're gonna do. So lots of opportunities out there right now.
Oh, I'm very happy to hear that.
Yes.
So, the pandemic came, and we know that the arts was greatly affected by this. Musicians were struggling to survive. How did you all cope during the pandemic last year?
Oh, so last year, everything started a year ago in March, and they were here. We were filming, we were shooting a video, and everything hit. And I said, well, I don't think we should shoot this video. I think the city is gonna close any minute. And they were like, oh no, you're just exaggerating. It's not gonna. I said, you know what? I think you guys have to go back to Dominican Republic. I don't want you guys to be stuck here without your children, your wives, your families. So we switched my brother and I, we switched their flights, and we shot the video, and they left the next day. And thank God I did that, because they would have been here all depressed and without their families for God knows how long. So when they got there, they got sick. They were both with COVID, and they didn't know. And I never, I was with them, and I didn't have it. I never got sick. And so they were there sick. So for about a month, this was March, and like nobody knew what was gonna happen. Nobody knew anything. So April came, and yeah, we kept messaging every day. Oh my God, this is crazy. This is done. We had booked a show at Joe's Pub for March 22nd, and they canceled. It was canceled, and then we were told that we were gonna be able to do it in July. In the summer, because everyone thought that maybe, and then of course that didn't happen. So they were there, I was here, and it was very hard, and for them, being at home with their kids, and just being home, and for for a performer, I mean, you guys know, you need that energy, you need that feedback, you need that, and they didn't have that. So I was like, okay, so what are we gonna do? So everyone in Instagram started doing live, singing, and talking, and with like little, talk shows or podcasts, whatever. So they are super creative, and they started doing lives, and keeping up. Um, and some songs were released. We released during 2020. We released 3 songs. One is called Tan Lejos, or far away. So it talks about when they're here, and their families are over there, or it matched with what was happening with COVID. So we gave the public that a little bit of kind of like what everyone was feeling. Um, and then I said, well, let's try to, it's time to do something fun. It's time to give people, cheer them up, so we did like a little remake of some like 80s, 70s and 80s merengue. So we did a little, we condensed like 5 songs, and we did a little merengue, and it was released in November. Very cute. You can find the video on YouTube, and then we started. We have to be thankful. They were fine. We have to be thankful, and try to spread the message. That we have to go on. So that's pretty much, they were home, I was here. It was awkward, but we continued to support each other, and encourage people in social media. And I would tell Christian, a lot of people follow you, and they make sure you tell them that everything's gonna be okay, and he did. So it was hard. It's been hard, and I think the worst is not having your fans or your public, see you right there. I think that was the worst for them.
Mm. Yeah, it was worse, bad for everyone. But where on you said that they have a YouTube channel where we can go
Yes.
to hear the
Yeah.
song? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
What is
so
it?
so they have their YouTube page, and it's youtube.com/Urbanova Music. Yeah, you're more than welcome to look. There's a whole bunch of nice videos. I think am I talking too fast?
No, no, you're not. No.
But we just released a song. It's called Secreto. It was released last week, and it's a bachata. It's fun and sexy and energetic, and everyone that listens to it wants to dance. So you're welcome to take a look at the video. It's playing on the radio in Dominican Republic right now. Some stations are supporting. It's a fresh song. So yeah, we're happy about that, and hopefully we'll bring Secreto here, and we'll have nice shows, so that everyone can enjoy.
Awesome. I can't wait. I'm gonna be using it for my workouts.
Yes, you know what? That's perfect for that.
Thank you. So Danielle, what about you ladies? How was the pandemic? How did you cope during this pandemic last year?
Whew, interesting story. Interesting story. As I mentioned, we like to be out in the street, and our sound from blocks and blocks away is our calling card. So it was pretty devastating to have to separate. As we draw energy from each other, we learn from each other live. Of course, and that's what we're all about. And when the pandemic hit, we had to we had to turn inward, and we had to work with each other in a completely different way and change the focus to technique, um, listening, challenging ourselves one on one with our home practice. And this has been, it's been quite an ordeal. It's been quite an ordeal. But we changed kind of the theme of how we do things from, look at us, here we are, look how powerful we are, to like look inside, look how healthy we can actually be. So the focus now is on healing through the drum. But I want to let some other Batala members talk about that experience over the
Okay.
last year. Terry Seligman and Ellen Dupuy-Janiak, Elka, Jen, y'all have been really instrumental to keeping the band alive, keeping it going even through these internet channels. What was your experience like?
I
So, oh, go
no,
ahead, Terry. Okay. I was just going to say something that's been really interesting is shifting from trying to keep our, like when we're in person, so much of our exchange of energy is through action and through repeating and through learning by sight. And we've had to change. Um, how we communicate, and it's a bit less physical and it involves a lot more talking, which is so interesting. That shift and that analyzation is really interesting. And I'll say we have some women in our band. We have some of the most persistent women in my life in this band that were not willing to give up. Like when we would try to do a video rehearsal and it didn't work the way as planned, well, we talked about it. We asked for feedback. People were gracious enough to give feedback, and then we've shifted and we've tried different things. And getting to collaborate with each other in that way, I think, has built a different kind of strength in our band that we wouldn't have necessarily gotten otherwise. So there's, I mean, I would prefer to be in person, but there are some positives that have really come out of this too.
Awesome.
Can I say something?
Yes.
I read somewhere on Instagram, I read something that said like if you didn't hustle in 2020, that means you were not a hustler. So I always think of that because it's true. I mean, 2020 took a lot of,
Ooh,
drained
yeah.
all of us, but if nothing positive came out of it, forget it. You're done.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. It's
I'm
interesting to hear musicians um, what you all did because we didn't have anything to support our art. We didn't have anything to really support us. We had to create things to support ourselves. So, Terry, how how did you survive 2020?
well, I mean, I feel like I actually, was one of the lucky ones. Of I still had a job, I still had my health, and I had this, really beautiful, I have my friends, my family, and this incredibly beautiful community, who I feel like I spent the pandemic with. I mean, one of the things that I wanted to add is that in addition to the really intense work that we did online together, which not certainly not as much fun and as being together playing, but this was not just the year of the pandemic, it was also the year of so much important stuff going on politically in racial justice and the elections, and this sense of incredible urgency, which a lot of what our music is about dovetail with the really important work that was going on politically. And, some of us got out there, and it was a sort of a small cadre of players, because people were understandably very nervous about being out and being in a crowd. And um, but a few of us, were okay with doing that and masked, and we went. We played at demonstrations, and that was, we got a lot of energy from that, and I think we gave a lot of energy to the events that we played at, and it was, really beautiful, because it was so important that we were there, even just a small group.
That's great. What about Elka? Let's let's hear
Yeah.
your experience.
Yeah, I wanted to add to that too, because that was really well put. It, the week before everything shut down, we were literally in a studio shooting this beautiful celebration of this art form, together with some of our amazing dance and community members, and put this amazing video together. And then a week later, it was like, oh, and everything really did shift. But I think, we did a great job of supporting each other. I think that's like the biggest thing for me, that we stayed in contact with one another, that we were able to support each other. Some of us didn't have as extreme of changes as others. I mean, Patricia, I'm also an arts manager. So I manage professional dancers for a living. And when the industry shut down, all the theaters closed, for me, most of my work became managing all of the jobs that now needed to be canceled, rescheduled, like reimagined virtually. Like, it was more than a full-time job, trying, being creative and working all of that out. And then also just kind of dealing with the extreme shift in that aspect, while still navigating all of the other elements of what was happening in the world, which was significant, and it still is. But being able to get together and play as a band and contribute to that environment, and being out there in the crowds and supporting these movements, that are near and dear to my heart, and being able to give energy to that with our art, that meant the world to me. Honestly, it meant the world to me. And um, so, so yes, we did what we needed to do, and we've been obviously working on like technical things, and it's giving us an opportunity to work on things like Jen mentioned, that maybe we wouldn't spend as much time on, but it's just as important. Understanding the roots of where this came from, and making those connections and talking about it, and understanding that we all learn differently, and figuring out, well, what works, and talking about different ways to learn the information. I feel like, if anything, we're definitely going to be coming out of this stronger and better and more knowledgeable about, you know, each other as people, as humans, as sisters, and then also, as percussionists.
Awesome. Thank you. Ellen, we'd like to hear from you too. Please unmute.
Well, a lot's been said already, so let's see what I can add. One thing that was really powerful in the beginning, it's been over a year now, is how many of our members relied on us as a group. Beyond being a musical group, we were also a group of women, and a lot of isolated women. A lot of our members lived by themselves and were uncomfortable to leave their houses for the first months at a time. And Batala became, I think it already for many of us is an emotional and beyond a political center and a musical center, it's also an emotional center. But in that case, during especially in the first few months, I think that we became a support network for each other in a way that we maybe didn't realize that we had the strength to do that. And we tried to set up phone chains to make sure that everybody was okay, because a lot of our members disappeared. And we didn't know whether they were struggling or sick or just couldn't deal with it and didn't want to talk to us, or and and what came out of that, I think, was a real solidarity that we had been struggling with a little bit before, to be honest, before COVID, and it really, I think, made us all realize how important it was to support each other. So a positive thing out of a lot of pain in the beginning, at least.
Well, ladies, definitely the pandemic brought things to us face to face, things that we had taken for granted. And I know for many musicians who, especially singers, who could not sing, as you know, a lot of people in Broadway, because they could not no longer perform, many of them were serving the community by serving food to people. Well, they say that we'll never go back to the way we were. If that is true, what lessons have this pandemic taught you that you carry forward with you to the new, I don't know, the new world that's coming post-pandemic? What are the things that you're doing now that you will take with you because you feel it's important? We're opening up the discussion. Anyone can jump in at any time.
I would say,
I was just going to say one thing for me is that I think speaking up, and part of it is just out of necessity because we're on this Zoom thing and it's weird, and so you take that pause and you hop in it when you can, and but also kind of what Dina was saying before about when we're in these spaces as a woman, you get in there and you play when you can, and that I don't know, that's just speaking up and being a bit more assertive is one thing that I think the technology has forced us to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Elka, you want to say something? Somebody else wanted to say something about that.
I think somebody else was going to speak.
oh, I think
Yeah.
I was gonna add that
Yeah.
to give ourselves more value, um, as a person, as a human being. A lot happened in 2020, and people reflected. I reflected. I worked on things, what I could do better. How can I improve relationships? How can I move forward? So, and also, value life, value yourself, value the good things that you have. Um, so that also, I would say.
Okay, that's great.
Also, life is really, really short. As Jen echoed, we don't have time to wait for an invitation. We
And
just have,
you're going to have to speak a little bit louder. We can barely
life.
hear you.
Okay, life is very short, right? We don't have, as we already discussed, we don't have time to wait for an invitation. We have to make the party wherever we are. Wherever I'm at, that's where the party's happening. I'm sorry,
Mhm.
that's how it is, right?
Mhm.
But also, life is even more than before so interconnected across the globe. I mean, we know what time it is now in all these different countries at this very moment, because we're actually working live with people from around the world. That's something that we are definitely taking forward post pandemic as well. But related to that, we realize with what's going on in Brazil right now, which is struggling so hard with this pandemic and the economic and political and other fallouts from that before and after, right? That we owe a lot of debt and solidarity to our our brothers and sisters who gave us this music, who nurtured and carried and taught out these traditions that we practice here in our music. So one thing that we're definitely going to continue is continuing to offer as much support as possible for Bahia and for Brazil, especially Black Brazil.
Yeah, yeah. I want to jump in. I want to jump in when you're talking about the tradition. I'm from Nigeria, as you guys, you know that. And I see so much similarity between, um, you know, Batala, the color, red and white, and the drumming is like Shango, you know, the deity Shango. In fact, as a matter of fact, I can tell you that in Nigeria, today's the day that Shango is venerated. It's funny. And Shango loves the drums. I mean, he will do anything for as long as you play the drums for him. So when I first saw your colors and I saw the drumming, my mind went to, oh, Shango group. But then I saw Batala, and we know that there's a deity called Obatala. So I couldn't, you know, reconcile that, you know.
Well, our name is a and also with the black, the red and black, we have the colors of Eshu as well, right?
Issue,
Um,
exactly, exactly.
in Brazil, there's the our brothers, cousins, people there are very blessed in it's a dubious blessing, but after the Middle Passage, all of the Africans and their descendants got mixed and intermixed, and of course they carried and they shared, and we carried on what we could in these really interesting new blended ways, right? So in Brazil, all of the Orishas are honored together. And Batala it's interesting, our name. It's a play on words.
Mm,
On one hand, yes, it is meant to sound like O Batala, right? The natural force of peace, right? But also, it is the two words bata, as in hit, there. So hit
mm,
there, hit
mm,
that drum over there, hit that bell
mm,
over there,
mm,
hit that beat over there. So
mm.
batala, but also it's all about peace. We blend the music together.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, Bata, from the word Batala, is the drum of Shango.
Mm.
So all this, you know, I've never been to Brazil, but I would love to go to Brazil one day, you know, because I love the way that they have kept the tradition alive in their way, you know. It's beautiful. So that Batala. Okay. Yeah.
We would
Yeah.
love to take you to Brazil.
I would love to go to Brazil.
Can I come too?
Come
Yes.
on, everybody, let's go.
And we need to do a group trip seriously after this.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah,
And it's
yeah.
no mistake because it all comes from the same place.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Yeah. And then I'll bring all of you to Nigeria.
Yay.
And we'll go to Shango's shrine and we'll see them dance with them and sing with them. It will be amazing. The world is changing, the world is opening up. So it's great. It's great. Patricia, there is someone who has a question for you, and they wrote this a long time ago. So I want to make sure that I let you give your chance to answer this.
Mhm.
The person writes, what advice would you give for women, in particular those of color, who are manage, trying to be a manager as well?
To not to give up, to continue, to fight for what they want. Everyone, we're all capable of doing it. I can tell you that not a lot of people know this, but I also happen to be a nurse, and I'm a mom. Um, of two teenagers, like I said. So it's a lot, and if you want it, you do it. Um, doesn't matter. Just keep doing it. Yes, you will encounter barriers, but you encounter barriers every day. Every day is every day there's something new. So just keep doing it. And ask for help. If you ask for help.
That's beautiful. Absolutely. It's important to ask for help. My teacher always say, "He who asks questions never gets lost." So,
That's true.
so here we are, 2021. Ladies, what are your plans?
Music.
Lots,
Ashe.
lots of music, lots of music, Ashe. And teaching
Yes.
out the music as much as we can. Um, the one of the dubious blessings of the pandemic and how it's changed this New York City is that there's been a lot more tolerance for music in the streets, and we want to avail ourselves of the opportunity to get out there and teach. We'll be doing workshops in the streets. We have a beautiful partnership that's blossoming with the Lower East Side Center and La Plaza Cultural nearby there. We're doing what we can to get out into every borough and bring our drums and put drums in the hands of women out there who want to hit it.
Awesome. Yeah. Anyone else? Well, New York City Multicultural Festival is coming back this year. It'll be a little bit tweaked. Not the big crowd, small, but it's coming back. And we'll love to have you all there performing. And we're going to space it out because we know we have a limit on the number of people who can attend. So we're going to space it out. So we'll give you more details about that later on. It's been a pleasure to have you ladies, powerful ladies here. And I want to take this moment to give you 1 minute each. If you have any last words you want to tell your fans before we go off.
Anyone wants to say anything?
I tell your
I just wanted
fans
to say,
how to reach you.
yeah, I just wanted to say thank you. A lot of everything that we do wouldn't be possible without support and encouragement. We do have support from our fellow members, but also our fellow community members and our families. Um, and that's really what's carried us through. And so we're really looking forward to everything that's coming up. We do have some exciting things coming up, and I'll let some of the other members talk about it. Um, but we are definitely looking forward to. I, I wouldn't say going back to anything, but growing forward to even greater things.
Asha. Asha.
Great.
You can follow us on Instagram and also Facebook at Batala New York, spelled out BATALANEWYORK, Batala New York. And yeah, as Elka said, we have a lot of really positive things coming. But I would like, in my last 30 seconds here, to express how I am awash in gratitude for your work, Elka, Patricia, and Malika, and especially Joyce for uh, the labor that you've offered to support the arts and keep it going. I recognize it as labor, really hard labor. And what would we do without you?
Wow.
Absolutely.
And
Thank you.
you.
Thank you. And you. We need you too. It's teamwork, you know? It's teamwork. We all must do this together in order to keep the arts alive. We can't just sit down and say, oh, woe is me. No, no, no. We must do something to keep the arts alive. Our people depend on it. Music is healing. And the music that you all provide, that we all provide, makes people happy, and while they're happy, they become, they release those happy hormones that heal. So
Yeah.
thank you all.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so I want to thank you all for joining us at the space. Ladies, you're phenomenal. You're amazing. Thank you for all that you do. I also want to thank our audience for coming to participate in this program, which is titled Our Cultures, Our Communities, Our Arts, a place for me and you on Facebook and Zoom. This program is supported in part by public funds from the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs in partnership with the City Council. Additional support is provided by Fund for the City of New York, Howard Gilman Foundation, the New York Community Trust, the Mosaic Network, and WQXR FM is our media partner. Listen to WQXR, New York City's own classical music radio station, live now at 105.9 FM and WQXR.org, and sign up for the WQXRE newsletter for weekly highlights, links to web streams, on demand concerts, videos, events from the green space, and more. So, thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you for Malika for doing the tech behind, and Emmanuel as well. And ladies, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. And we'll see you out there. We'll make more music. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Ashe. One love.